They're in over their heads. They're getting worried. They've recognized that there's a phenomena around us, and it's sending shockwaves throughout the DoD and now in classified sessions in Congress. An entity that can change the physical and cognitive environment around us. An unknown entity that we have no knowledge of. The way the memo reads is the science exists for an enemy of the United States to manipulate both the physical and cognitive environments in order to penetrate U.S. facilities, influence decision makers, and compromise national security. Now, why would they be concerned? There is an entity at large around us. We can't control, we can't hide, we can't ignore. And all we can do is go to Congress and say we know it's there, but we don't know what it is. Well, hey, it's time to open the books up, folks. It's time to open the books up. Let's look at some details here. What could possibly be able to change the physical and cognitive environments around us in order to penetrate our facilities and influence people that make decisions and to compromise our very national security? Don't we need to know about that? As far as penetration of our U.S. facilities, let's look at Skinwalker Ranch. Legend of the shapeshifter entity known as the Skinwalker goes back in Navajo folklore for generations and generations, hundreds if not thousands of years. This humanoid has terrorized that particular area of Utah forever. And Bigelow used to own the property, but made an agreement with the DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency, to find out what is causing all the ruckus on Skinwalker. They closed down the property, they acquired it, they classified it, couldn't get on it, couldn't get near it, top secret. They wanted to expose this phenomena for once and for all. They wanted to find out what in the heck is going on in Skinwalker. As soon as they did that, 5 prize bulls were stuffed inside a container built for 2, just for kicks, along with many, many more in-your-face gestures. These are things that occurred right in front of the team of NIDS, what they called them, National Institute for Discovery Science, consisted of about a dozen of the top scientists in the world, right in their face. He would take tillers, motorized tillers, and put them in 50-foot trees overnight, just for kicks, just to make them wonder. There were discs and the orbs flying overhead. Nobody could figure out what was going on. There were creatures that they could see in the night that would run off into the field, and they would chase them. There were wolves that were the size of little ponies that they shot them with shotguns, and it didn't kill them. It just made them mad. There's a whole book. In fact, there's a whole TV series on this. What is the Skinwalker? No one knows. DIA was going to go in and find out, was going to put their thumb down and find out the information and take care of it. They left there with their tails between their legs and sold the property over to the current gentleman that's got a TV show now. They don't know. They know there's magnetic resonance somewhere in the deep underground. They know there's some strange activities 500 feet in the air. They know compasses don't act right. They know their drills go into things that can't cut them. A lot of strange things going on there, but the point is, the Skinwalker has ruled here. He's won this one. But who is he? What is it? What is it? It's able to penetrate a facility that was taken over by the government and classified and controlled entry. And they were able to have their will with no problem whatsoever right in their face. They would put a camera and where there was one activity one evening, and they'd get the camera going, and guess what? The same activity occurred, but this time it was behind the camera. And they turned the camera around, and it would move, and it would continue to play with them like that. Stories about bringing food into the kitchen and having it all put back in the bag that it came in. And toothpaste and combs being taken from the bathroom and left out in the kitchen. Weird stuff. And nobody knows what's going on at the Skinwalker. Orbs. Influence decision makers. What does that mean? How can you influence a decision maker? Mysterious Minuteman missile deactivation. In 1968, an orb-like UFO hovered over the missile control compound at Minot. B-52 crew observed it, and it was recorded in the Project Blue Book under that date. And what happened is the missile crews deactivated all of the missiles. Deactivated our nuclear Minuteman missiles. And then after it was done and they were investigating, they had no recollection of doing that. No recollection. What does that mean? That means that Orb was able to command our missile crew to do something, and they did it, and then their memories were erased. Now, isn't that clever? That's called influencing decision making. And what could you possibly do with that? You could start a war, you could end a war, you could blow up a country by telling people to blow up their country and then to forget about it. Influencing decision makers is lethal. What are we doing about it? We're keeping it classified. We're not even telling anybody because we don't want anybody to know that that can be done, because if it can be done, guess what? Somebody else can do it. Maybe somebody might make friends with this entity that runs wild, whatever or whoever it or they are. And maybe our enemies can utilize this terrible weapon of influencing our minds, changing our brain patterns, changing our recollections, and changing what we do, how we behave, how we act, overriding everything that we know to be correct. Why aren't they telling us about this? Compromise national security. Wow. November 14th, 2004, 100 miles southwest of San Diego, the Nimitz dispatched a couple F-18s, Super Hornets. They were told to interdict a particular unknown object. There was a whole fleet of them. They picked one out and they sent the Hornet out to investigate. And it almost clipped the Hornet, scared the pilot, and then disappeared, or went away so quickly that they couldn't tell where it went. Radar later said it had gone to their waypoint. Wait a minute. A tic-tac disappeared and goes directly to their waypoint. What is that? Well, it's a classified rendezvous coordinates where the pilots can meet up and regroup, and it's over 60 miles away. How did the tic-tac know where the waypoint was? How did it know the classified rendezvous coordinates? Are they enemies? Have they broken into our saves and found out all the coordinates? Or are they an entity that can mess with your cognitive information and can pull out the coordinates and what you're supposed to do in an emergency right out of your head? It's dangerous. Dangerous. Why don't we know more about this? Why aren't we calling out at Calvary to figure this stuff out? They're afraid. They're hunkered down. They don't want us to know, because if we knew, we would demand action immediately. U.S. government is afraid that Russia or China will beat us to the secrets behind this phenomena and then use it against us. So to protect us, they classify everything otherworldly. They make fun of anyone with information and ensure misinformation is a part of our daily mainstream news and internet media. They make fun of us, and then they publish the one thing that would make us look stupid. Isn't that nice? We must insist this chaos stop now. We are not the enemies of the United States government. Hence, we should not be treated like we are the enemy. I am doing all that I can do to inform you, encourage you to spread it around, let people know about it, and then repeat it. Dear Department of Energy, dear Defense Naval Intelligence, dear Intelligence Agency, dear Defense Intelligence Agency, and a special dear Central Intelligence Agency, DOE, DNI, DIA, CIA, major players in this problem, major central casting characters in this problem. Not all of them. There's only about 500 in the whole country that know the true secrets of where these things are and what they're truly afraid of. Most of them, if they're in the government, not all of them are in the government. Most of them are in private industry, in aerospace companies. But the ones that are in the government are in DOE, DNI, DIA, and the CIA. Hello. You are now obligated to tell us not what you do not know, like you did to the Congress, but to tell us what you do know. We know all the good stuff is hidden in private contractor facilities. We know that. And we know why you did it, because we can't do Freedom of Information Act to find out what's in the facilities. But we know there's alien ships and bodies hidden away, nicely tucked away in private facilities that nobody can open up. Come on, guys, fess up. If you get a chance, you want to find out a little bit more about where I'm coming from, check out wakeupamerica.com. And then if you have extra time, check out jrod-p52.com. It's an interview with an alien called Kayela. Got some other secrets there, too. This is the briefing chart that they're all upset about, pulling their hair out. But they don't want to tell us that. They don't want to admit it. They're afraid. They're afraid the enemy's going to get there before we do. Thanks for coming on this journey. Stay with us. Things are about to pop here. You can contact me, Dave Fashionport, at dave@wakeup-america.net or at Dave Fash. And mobile phone 281-380-2159. I don't answer it, but I do respond to significant messages that are left for me. So if you want to leave me a message of significance and need to come back, record a message. Otherwise, I will not respond. This is about manipulation of our physical and our cognitive environment, folks. This is serious. Let's keep this ball rolling. It's a good idea.